Welcome back, Rope Droppers, to another episode of the Rope Drop Pod. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel if you have not already. Disney parks are changing this year, turning back to normal. One of the first big things that is already here, that started on January 9th, but all-day park hopping is back. Since 2020, you could not park hop until 2 p.m. It is important to know that if you are a pass holder, if you have military tickets, park reservations and things get a little tricky for that. You still have to make park reservations for those types of tickets, but date-based tickets, there are no restrictions as far as park hopping and park reservations. So that's great. I did notice when I was kind of looking into this a little bit more that transportation does not, like the buses don't start running until 10 a.m. And so if you're looking to park hop early in the morning, that is something you kind of want to consider. You can always take the monorail, you can take the Skyliner, but as far as buses go, you won't be able to immediately park hop right in the morning. So I am very happy about this. Like on my personal trips, usually park hopping. I'm excited. I'm glad park hopping is back. I'm glad that you don't have to make park reservations for those date-based tickets anymore. That's really nice. What are your thoughts, Kristen? Are you a park hopper? Do you like to do one park per day? I know some people are kind of in between as far as both goes.
No, I am a park hopper all the way. I am so happy for both of these changes because I feel like this puts the spontaneity back in your Disney World vacation, and that makes me happy. This whole idea of park reservations, it's like it created this whole new level of stress when you're pre-planning your vacation, because let's say I've got a park reservation for Magic Kingdom on this day, but I can't get the dining reservation that I want in Magic Kingdom on that day. Well, now I have to decide, will I change my park reservation? Will I just not eat at that restaurant? Whatever. It just made this whole new level of stress, I think. I think it was terrible for first timers because, like you and I go, we know what we want to hit. We know what we want to do. We have our plan. For these first timers, that's really overwhelming. And to know that, like, well, what if it rains on my Magic Kingdom day, but I can't get a reservation a different day? It was a lot of stress. So I'm super happy. The park hopping thing, it's not for everybody. I think, especially for people that consider themselves pros like we do, we're going to want to park hop. I don't need to ride everything in Magic Kingdom in one day. I want to hit some highlights maybe, and then maybe go over here for lunch and then head off to Animal Kingdom or something. So I think having that option to do it early in the day, like you said, sometimes I don't want to fill up an entire morning in one park all the way till 2 p.m. So I'm ecstatic about this. I think this really brings a lot more options back into your vacation.
Yeah, I agree. I did not even think about dining reservations, but that's a great point. Yeah, if you are not able to get a park reservation for a specific dining option that you can only get on this particular day, that was not fun. And you're right, especially for people that are traveling for their first time or they just haven't been in so long, it created an extra headache. So definitely glad that park hopping is back. Everybody's able to kind of go to multiple parks and not have to worry about park reservations. So that's great. Another big 2024 change to Disney is that the dining plan is back. It's been 4 years. We have not had the dining plan. If you don't know what the dining plan is, basically you can prepay all of your meals, all of your snacks, even beverages as well before your trip, before you arrive. So if you are kind of a person that really likes to pre-plan and, food is not something you want to have to worry about paying for, then the dining plan is a great option because you can prepay all of that. And really the only thing you're worrying about, unless you're making reservations, is where to eat when you arrive. We have a lot more restaurants that require 2 dining credits now. And so Cinderella's Royal Table, Snow White, the Brown Derby, and I know Kristen has a full list of all the restaurants now. And so the dining plan, you have so many credits. Certain restaurants require a certain amount of dining credits. And so you kind of have to keep track of how many dining credits you have. So what are your feelings about the dining plan coming back this year?
I feel like I need to stretch out for this one. I have so much to say. Feelings are so strong. So let me get ready. Okay, so I love the dining plan. I personally get it every time I go. My aunt and I love it. The main reasons I love it is because, to quote my dad, I don't like to nickel and dime myself on vacation. I hate having to pay all these things out of pocket. When I know that I've got the dining plan, it gives me a little less, guilt-free choices on the menu. Because, for example, if I'm paying a la carte, I may not order that $35 entree. But if I have the dining plan and that's an option, I sure as heck am going to order that. I'm going to have the salmon or I'm going to have the steak or what have you. So I feel like for people like me that love to have it prepaid, that's one thing. I also feel like you can really stretch this dining plan. It's not per day that you're there, it's per night. So if you're spending 5 nights in your hotel, you get 5 of each credit. But you can really stretch that out because, for example, like if you get a quick service breakfast, that's huge. My aunt and I usually share that. Same thing. A lot of the quick service meals are gigantic. So we'll share one of those a couple times a day rather than each have a huge meal. Maybe we'll have a quick service mid-morning and a quick service a little later and then a big meal at night or something. But one thing about the snacks, I don't know if you know this, Lex, but this year, instead of 2 snacks per person per night, you only get 1. So now with the traditional dining plan, it's 1 sit down, 1 quick service, 1 snack per day. Or I'm sorry, per night for each person. So you don't probably end up with as many snacky credits. Because I used to come home with all these Rice Krispie treats and little Chip and Dale cookies and all this. But I think you'll probably end up using them a little more this year. But I am not happy about all these places that are now 2 credits. Look at my face, not happy. Not happy about them.
Yeah, it's been so long but the dining plan really makes it feel like you're on like an all-inclusive trip or you're on a cruise because if you want to order a $50 meal, like you said, you totally can. And it's great. Yep. But you're right. Like keeping track of all of these restaurants that are now 2 credits instead of 1, you're definitely going to be using credits up a lot quicker.
So I actually made a list today because I'm pretty hot about this one. It used to just be, a few places. Like you were always going to use 2 credits at Cinderella's Royal Table. I get that. Yeah. That's fine. Mm-hmm. You are going to use 2 of them for dinner at Be Our Guest. Again, I get it. That's limited seating, all that jazz, whatever. Hollywood Brown Derby was always 2. I've never eaten there because, to be honest, if I'm going to use 2 credits, it's going to be for a character meal, not for just a steak or something. And I think Le Cellier in Epcot has always been 2. I've also don't eat there because I'm not a steak person, so that's not really my jam. But okay, here's the rundown on the list if you're ready. Be Our Guest is now going to be 2 credits across the board. No quick service breakfast, no 1 credit at breakfast or lunch, 2 credits no matter what. Not happy. Cinderella's Royal Table, still 2. Okay, fine. I don't like this. Accursius, which is, of course, Princess Dining in Epcot, used to be 1. It is now 2 for lunch and dinner, but you can still have breakfast for 1. So in my opinion, all that's going to do is mean that everybody's going to try and flood that place for reservations so they can get a character meal for 1.
That one was still character dining, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Why just breakfast? Why just 1 for breakfast?
I don't know. My only thought is that just a cheaper meal for them to make. I mean, truly, because it's, you're cranking out waffles and hash browns. Maybe that's just truly cheap. But also, the food at Accursius is delicious, but it's not, it's not filet mignon either. It's Swedish meatballs and mac and cheese, and it's yummy, but I don't feel like it's worth 2 credits, just in my opinion. Tiffin's is still in Animal Kingdom, is still 2. It always was. Here's a list from Disney Springs. Not liking this. Boathouse is now 2, no matter when you go. Haleo is now 2. Morimoto Asia is now 2. And the Paddlefish is now 2. So that's a lot of nice sounds. That's pretty hefty there. I think people will go to those anyway because they're all really like beloved places for guests, but I don't like it that you have to eat up 2 of your credits to go there. Because now, like, if I want to go to Boatfish and have 1 character meal, I've used 4 credits in 2 meals. That seems like a lot. This is interesting. Jico, the cooking place, is 2. The Cape Town Lounge and Wine Bar over at Animal Kingdom Lodge is also 2. The Flying Fish, which I think used to be 2, still is, over at the Boardwalk. Toledo, on top of Coronado Springs, is now 2. Then at Grand Floridian, Citricos and Narcoossee's are both 2, no matter what meal. Now this is weird. Topolino's, you can still go there and get the character breakfast for 1. But if you eat dinner there, you're looking at 2. So it's strange to me that I can go have a great character experience for 1 in the morning, but if I want to go have a fancy dinner with no characters, I have to pay 2. That seems a little weird.
That does seem weird.
And then, okay, this is the big one for me. This is my bugaboo. Storybook dining is now 2.
Oh, was that one used to be 1? I don't remember what that one used to be.
I've eaten there twice, but I haven't eaten there on the dining because one time was when you and I went. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then I went with my aunt, but it was post-COVID, between COVID and now. So we just paid a la carte. I don't know if it was 2 back in the day, but I don't know. That just seems like a lot of restaurants that are 2 now. And I feel like it's a little misleading, like when I talk about it to clients, because now it's not just, oh, well, usually I can say if you're going to have sit downs and character meals, the dining plan is going to save you a little money and it's going to make things easier for you. If you don't care about characters and sit downs, don't do it. But now I feel like that's different because now it's almost a case of, well, which character meals do you want? If you want Cinderella's Royal Table, Be Our Guest, and Snow White, well, you've almost used up your nights of, your dining in 3 meals. So it's a little harder, I think, to determine if it's worth it, depending on what people really want to eat.
You were the one that actually told me how many more restaurants require 2 dining credits. I did not realize that, but I am curious now, like, are people running out of dining credits quicker because so many of these restaurants are now requiring 2? I would like to experience myself and see, like, you're right. Is it worth it when these restaurants are requiring more credits? Like, are you going to run out quicker? Are you going to, I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah. The only thing I will say is that, like, okay, if I go to, let's say, the Brown Derby and I order the most expensive option, that comes with my dining plan, maybe that's worth it, because maybe if I went there on my own and paid, I'd be like, I'll just have a side salad and a water, just because like I want to eat there, but I'm not willing to put out the bucks. So maybe the other thinking is, I don't know, are they making all of these 2 credits hoping that people will use their dining credits up faster and therefore not make as many reservations? Maybe.
It's true. That's a good point. 2024, you probably already are aware, but the Festival of the Arts in Epcot has returned. This festival runs from January 12th to February 19th. This festival is always one that I'm never able to go to because of the time frame. January, February, I'm a teacher, and it's just not usually a time that I can go. The festival this year is like pretty much based around Figment, right? Like, so many things are Figment. I looked up like a short description of this festival this year, and like we have a Figment popcorn bucket, plush toys, spirit jerseys, Pandora charms. There's the paint by numbers mural that always looks so cool. They have like this giant mural where you can get a little paint cup and go paint a little square. Never done that. I'd love to do that, but that's back. They have a drawing session of how you can learn how to draw Figment. Of course, Journey into Imagination with Figment. There's a meet and greet with Figment. They have magic shots with Figment and a nighttime show with Figment.
I'm gonna start ticking if you just keep saying Figment. Stop it.
I wonder if Disney has listened to our Rope Drop pod and been like, we are adding everything Figment this year in 2024.
I know. But I guess it saves me money because everything that's Figment, I just walk on by. Like, I'm not even tempted.
I know. I thought it was so funny, but yeah. So if you love Figment, you should head on over to the Festival of the Arts because it looks like a great time. But it's also one that the festival itself, I think, looks so much fun. They always, on the sidewalks, they have these amazing painted murals as well. And it just looks like a really fun festival. And I'm always so jealous this time of year that I can never see it. But Festival of the Arts, I would love to attend. Have never attended.
Yeah, I haven't either. And same reason, you and I are always in school when that's going on, so we can't take extended trips. But I think it looks so beautiful. I love the color. And, being, I'm artsy, I'm a music teacher. I think it looks so fun. And I also it's not such a long festival because I feel like now Food and Wine feels like it's half the year, and Garden Festival feels like it's the other half of the year. They both feel so long that it's almost like not as special. And I feel like just being just over a month long, it's like this perfect amount of time. Like you feel like if you went, you got to experience something special. Whereas like Food and Wine, as long as you go within this 4-month period, you're going to hit it. So I think that's pretty cool.
I totally agree with that. I'm usually going in the summer, and it's always either Food and Wine or it's Flower and Garden. And I don't know. I'm like, it would be so cool for Epcot to throw in another festival, or maybe just rearrange them a little bit. Maybe put Festival of the Arts in the summer. That would be so cool. But regardless, I love Epcot, and I love how they offer these festivals itself, because I feel like it just takes the park to another element of what it already is. So sounds really cool. Yeah. Love to be there, but I can't.
Someday.
Yes. Okay, another, I guess, kind of something we've kind of already talked about before, but 2024 opening this year in Magic Kingdom and Disneyland is Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So this is replacing Splash Mountain. And Kristen informed me that their animatronics in this are supposed to look a little more advanced and supposed to be a little bit more realistic and very similar to the animatronics that they have in Japan. So I think of, like, even if you have ridden Frozen Ever After or the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and those animatronics have their faces like projected on them, this is supposed to be even better, right?
Yeah, this is supposed to look really cool. Like, kind of, yeah, if you can think about the dwarfs, or if you can think about Anna and Elsa in Frozen, this is like that same kind of, but it's not projected onto them somehow. So I don't know how it works, but it's supposed to be like a huge step up, really realistic looking. So I'm really excited to see that, and just see inside what they've done, because like they're completely transforming Briar Patch and all of that stuff from Song of the South into. I just think it's going to be so pretty.
Yeah, I am excited too. I was sad to see Splash Mountain close, but Disney, when they reimagine something, they usually do it really well. So I'm excited to see Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I know that's supposed to be opening sometime this year. Do we have a time frame when that's supposed to be opening?
No, they just keep saying 2024, and I'm going mid-June, late June. And I'm like, maybe it will be open when I go in June. That would be awesome, because that really will be my only chance for a while to check it out. So that would be great.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, so 2024, if you're going this year, keep an eye out for Tiana's Bayou Adventure in Disneyland and Walt Disney World.
I will put my little poncho on and I will ride it, because I hate a water ride. Hate it. I hate being wet. I hate being wet in the pool. But I will put my poncho on and I will experience it, because it's going to be so beautiful.